And we are just about ready to go as the Pitt Panthers starting lineups now for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Lamazana leads the way up front. Axani is the big working guy down low, blocking shots along with Lamazana, working for rebounds. A lot of firepower from the backcourt. Pittsburgh, interchangeable parts. Really very, very good players in all areas of the game. Leading scorer is the sophomore guard Krauser. And Taft, the freshman center, is a guy you have to look at as a guy that can really be a difference maker. Gary Waters is now, as you see, a 58% winner since coming to the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. And his counterpart is Jamie Dixon in his first season at Pitt, a 17-0 start. Here's a guy that was a 9-year assistant under Ben Howland and took over and has certainly acquitted himself admirably, Jim.
He sure has, and one of the things that he's done very well, obviously, is he hasn't come in and made a whole lot of changes. As you take a look at the comparisons right there in terms of points that they're scoring, Pitt 72, a little higher than Rutgers, but points allowed, that was the point there with Pitt, 56 points per game defensively. So Dixon has just continued to bring the defensive presence to the floor as a coach for this team.
And here is freshman guard Marcus Webb with the ball for Rutgers. Very composed player for a first-year player. Shields a good outside shooter. Rutgers will work the perimeter. Gary Waters told us he thinks the key to the game for Rutgers, they have to rebound. The Scarlet Knights have to bang the boards along with Pittsburgh that sends 5 men to the boards, and now Lamazana, a guy that Jim can be about as good as he wants to be, puts down the jump hook, and the Knights take the lead.
Plenty of tools. As we touched on the open, we saw him shoot the ball from long range against Rutgers, Providence, but also at the post. With Rutgers there, he has to get a little inside, a little outside. He's usually more effective, Lamazana, when he starts the game inside and gets some easier touches.
Big guy, 6'10". His coach Waters says of Lamazana, Hervé can be as good as Hervé wants to be. Here's Duran Brown. Very unselfish team as the shot clock now down to 5 seconds. A jump hook is put down by the freshman Chris Taft out of Brooklyn, New York.
And another guy with unlimited ability right there, but back-to-back jump hooks to start things off. Both teams in man-to-man defense, and both teams at the offensive end pretty patient, working the clock down.
Defense never stops when you play Pittsburgh. Now Lamazana, obviously the first option today, can't get his second shot to go, but good work down low, and the ball is taken by Marcus Webb.
Just a little bit of a float from right to left on Lamazana's shot just then as he backed his way in. Oh, he's active though, isn't he?
He really is, Jim, and he's the guy that obviously they want a first option in every offensive possession for Rutgers has been Lamazana, who averages 4.5 points a game, 14.5 points a game.
And here's his drive, and watch, see if Brown gets in there. A couple of guys reaching and stripping for the basketball. Good defensive effort once again. One of the things about Pitt early on, they will close on you. You put the ball on the floor, there's going to be an extra body kind of getting in your way, filling up the gaps, going towards the basket.
And Rutgers turns the ball over now, and here comes Krauser for Pitt. Good defense jumping into the passing lane is Sean Axani, and tips it out of bounds, back inbounds to the Panthers.
Yeah, Axani's one of these guys who just really plays hard at the defensive end at a double-double, 11 points, 11 rebounds against Monmouth earlier in the week.
Javon Troutman kicks it out to Duran Brown, left open. And the rebound, they're so good offensive rebounding. That's how they beat Notre Dame 74-71 on Monday night, did Pitt. Getting second and third shots.
Well, what you need to do is obviously first get a body on them, but don't forget to go after the basketball. Just blocking out is one thing, but you have to go after it.
Down low they go.
Nice job defensively here by Rutgers, though. About 10 seconds on the shot clock right now. Pitt has not gotten a good look.
Here is Taft, the freshman at All-America honors last year. At Xaverian in Brooklyn.
Oh, that ever come up flat? That had no spin on it whatsoever. May have got hit on the arm, though, to cause that.
Launched a knuckleball. They're still at 2-2 with 17:05 to play in the first half.
I don't think we're going to see 100 points scored today, Don, with these two teams. Is it going to be a relatively low-scoring game, I would guess, if the first couple of possessions are any indication.
Long ball, long good. As you know, Jim, Pitt allows just 56 points a game. That's number 8 in the country in scoring defense. You got to make your possessions count and your shots count against Pitt.
Johnny with a nice rebound there. Nice drive right here. Good work putting his left shoulder into the gut of the defense. Troutman that time. Not getting great position, but good work by Exani to really position himself pretty well for Gary Waters' squad.
The officials today, Mike Kitts, Curtis Shaw, Patrick Driscoll. As Siobhan Troutman gets a first personal foul. And Exani goes to the free throw line. Not his strong suit. He is a 52% free throw shooter this year. Exani, a fifth-year senior out of Red Bank, New Jersey, Red Bank High School, a guy who never stops competing. The captain of the team, a Dean's List student.
Look at his numbers there. 7 rebounds a game, second best on the team. He's had 4 games this year where he's gone for 10 or more rebounds. So generally doesn't fill up the stat sheet a whole lot in terms of points, but really gets the rebounds, some steals, and does a whole lot of work defensively at that end of the floor.
Here is Krauser working hard against Shields, a very good defender. Krauser, the leading scorer for the Panthers. Down low, beautiful executed alley-oop, but Siobhan Troutman comes off the baseline and scores.
Well, good job, because what they did there, they baited 2 Rutgers players to stay with the basketball up top. Lack of communication there allows it an easy one down the other end.
Here's a steal. Troutman to the basket. Lays it up and down, and Pitt, with the constant pressure, turns Rutgers over. That has been the problem Rutgers has had against Pittsburgh in the past. Turning the ball over against Pittsburgh pressure.
Defensively, a nice play by Troutman just then, but also when he caught the basketball, he recognized that he had a little bit of a shoulder advantage on the race with Webb going to the basket. Good delivery on the way.
Off the baseline, Shields breaks to the basket.
Exani will get on the stat sheet there with a beautiful pass. Little give and go from the high side. Nice delivery by both Exani and Shields. Good backdoor cut by Shields just then.
Ricky Shields, a junior who was Rutgers' most prolific three-point shooter. He gets that one off the baseline, and it is a 6-5 game Pitt. The foul now is called on Adrian Hill of Rutgers. Looking at the Pitt Panthers, they have won 9 straight games in Big East play dating back to last season. 16 straight Big East games at home. Back to the University of Pittsburgh. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarco. Troutman off to a good start, Jim.
Sure is at both ends of the floor, Don. And one of the things with their Pittsburgh's offense, very, very patient here. You'll see Rutgers double team up high, but nobody comes after Troutman to pick him up. Lamanzano touch late. And now defensively, he picks the basketball up, but notice his shoulders ahead of Webb right there. As soon as you get within striking distance of the basket, if your shoulder is ahead of the defender, that's a green light for you to continue going to the basket. Nice job at both ends of the floor by Troutman.
Troutman is a junior from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And he is a very durable player. He gets it to you at both ends, offensively and defensively. Now the jump hook by Taft, his second of the game, and it is an 8-5 advantage for Pittsburgh.
Well, if you thought Taft could only jump hook from the left side of the floor, he can now go to the right side of the floor too, and very effective in body positioning, also before he even catches the basketball.
Well, you're talking about his upside. There's no telling how good Taft can be. He's at 6'10", and he could get bigger, they think. A freshman.
Once again, Brown that time defensively. Exani with the foul down low after the pass. Here's a little jump hook. Notice he gets himself positioned body-wise prior to setting the shot up. Catches the basketball and then starts into his motion using his body very well against Lamanzano, who's a very, very good shot blocker in the Big East.
Julius Page, the senior guard. They work the ball, constantly looking for the cutters, and it's Page who pulls up in the lane and knocks it down with the left hand.
It's always good to see a guard go through the lane, read the defense, and then make a judgment. About 8 feet away just then. You don't see it that often, the pull-up jump shot. Nice little tricky move there by Page.
Page, a senior from Buffalo, is a 14-point-a-game scorer, and he's the top defender for the Pitt Panthers. And now working hard to the basket is Webb, and good work underneath. Hanging his way free. And getting it up and down is Adrian Hill, the sophomore.
Taft was a factor defensively just then. He got his finger on that basketball, but Hill hanging around. As you see Pitt's numbers, 5 of 7. Rutgers still hanging in there, only down 3.
Pittsburgh shooting very well as usual. They shoot over 50% as a team, one of the leaders in the country. Here's the steal. Krauser shut off, gets it out to Page. Short on the 3-ball, and now it comes back the other way with the freshman Marcus Webb.
Good decision by Webb just then. There were 2 against 3 Pitt defenders. Good decision by the youngster to take it out, relax a little bit, and make sure they get a good set and a good shot.
Hill dishes off to Exani, and good ball movement down low by the Scarlet Knights as they saw that he was going to be rejected. and dishes it off, and the Scarlet Knights are back to within one.
Decision's pretty good by both teams in the interior. I thought you're right, Don. I thought that was going to get put back in his face.
And now, the base give and go, pick and roll, and Krauser's free for the inside shot and a 3-point lead for the Panthers.
They really like to attack, don't they? They're really looking, first thought is to go to the basket as often as they possibly can.
They are, the Panthers, a very aggressive team at both ends of the floor, attacking on defense, attacking on offense. Lamazana getting doubled up. Free ball is picked up by Webb. Long range ball. Aron's off. The shot by Shields is no good. A collision on the rebound and a foul on Rutgers.
Now Shields can knock that shot back. I mean, he shoots the ball at 35% clip for Gary Waters, so he knows that he can make those shots. A little long that trip, but then as he put the ball up, he drifted away from the basket and then decided to come back onto the floor and try to get the offensive rebound. He was a touch too late.
And the foul was on Ricky Shields, his first. So the ball will come inbounds to Pitt. Krauser bringing it in. Krauser said of Jamie Dixon, he said, we know him, he knows us, and he knows he's going to get everything we have every game.
Absolutely. The MVP of the Pitt Holiday Tournament this year. So obviously a guy who can step up in big times when they need him.
Pitt's defense are already accounting for 4 steals so far in this game for the Panthers. They average only 5 a game. Oh, what a shot. Brown can't get it to go. Laurie Morris in the game. A major collision down low with Byron Jones. 2 big guys. I tell you, this Pitt team, Jim, has enormous size. You stand out here when they're warming up, it looks like an NBA team.
Yeah, they really do. And the thing is, they're not afraid to put them on the floor. And here they go to work. Off the other side, Morris is hanging around and out battling.
Page, the senior sharpshooter, with a beautifully arced 3-point try.
That's a
Going
good
to give
move.
him 2, actually. It's a 14-9 lead.
Good move here by Rutgers to call timeout. Not that they're in bad shape, 14-9 score, but just want to make sure that you're getting good shots down the other end of the floor and obviously put a better effort at the defensive glass.
Gary Waters said there's no surprises when you play Pitt. They do the same things every time, but they do them so well as we look at the home winning streak.
You look at those numbers, 36, Duke right behind with Wake Forest, Texas, Wisconsin.
Who was the last to beat Duke? North Carolina, maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Tough place to play down there, Cameron Indoor Stadium.
You spent 4 good years there.
Yeah, we had a little fun. It's a great home court advantage. The students, similar to this place right here, where the students are right behind us around the floor.
Yeah, you could build a great team just to the guys that transfer out of Duke because they can't play. There's so many good players there. I've never seen it. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's a great school and a great program. And Krzyzewski, you talk about the beat going on every year. More and more great players go to Duke.
That's the way we like it, Don.
Here now is the Scarlet Knights trying to work something down low, and they really have that help defense. They cordon things off.
A move by Joins, and a little arm pops up at the same time. Offensive foul is going to go the other way.
Pitt will not give you that paint. They deny the lane. But Gary Waters sees his team fall behind by 5. Pitt has beaten Rutgers. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Peterson Events Center. Balanced scoring for the Panthers. Troutman, Page, and Taft all with 4 points each.
And Page with a nice jumper from the right side of the floor. Really a good understanding of when his shot selection should be taken. A good guy because he's always reading the floor properly. So Pitt with a 5-point lead in pretty good shape. And we look at the numbers already. 4 steals for them in a team that only averages 5 per season. So Rutgers has to be much more careful with the basketball.
That's the only thing Pitt is last in. Steals per game, and today they're building that number. Pittsburgh, you'll see a lot of touches of the ball. They really move the ball around. Great movement. You got the cutters working all the time. Everybody gives it up to the open man.
Little step. Well, one of the things too about that steals statistic that's misleading too is that they play a little slower concept in terms of the style of play, so there aren't as many possessions, even though they turn people over. You look at the numbers right there, 5-1 with Rutgers with the 5, but there aren't as many possessions as there would be in a game going, say, 80 or 90 points per game.
No question. The Panthers take it deep into the shot clock. Big reason they allow only 56 points a game on the average. And their team shooting percentage on offense for Pitt is 51% for the season, 7th best in America. Now Rutgers guns the ball too hard down low. Byron joins, passes out of bounds, and it comes inbounds. Torrey Morris brings it in.
McCarroll, a factor defensively just then, stepping in the middle of the lane, ready for Joins to come through the lane, and basically got in his way, made him think a little bit, distracted him a bit, threw it out of bounds.
Gary Waters really wanted to see his team rebound, Jim. He said that's going to be the key is staying with these guys. They get too many second and third shots. We've got to get them.
Well, especially with the thought, Don, that you just mentioned, when they take the air out of the ball a little bit, they wear the shot clock down. So now they were coming on 10 seconds on the shot clock. They take a shot, you miss it. You can't give them another rebound.
There's a guy that probably shouldn't be taking outside shots, and look at that stroke. Mark McCarroll.
Rutgers has to find a nice shot right here.
Rutgers on a 2-game win streak. Providence and Monmouth after losing 3 straight, including the 1-point loss to #1 Connecticut. You know, when you talk about talent on teams, though, I don't know if any team in America in recent years is as strong 1 through 12 on the roster as Connecticut.
Oh, they are loaded. I've had the pleasure of watching them a couple of times. I worked the Rutgers-Connecticut game that we referenced on the opener. I mean, they do. They go deep, and one of the things, they go up and down very, very quickly. Take a little time here to see what's up with the clock, reset the clocks.
One of the reasons teams like Connecticut are so good is when you're that deep 1 through 12, Jim, I mean, you've got great players to practice against. A lot of teams, their first 5 are playing against this very inferior second-line players. Now they get into game action, they're going against much better competition. Rutgers backup players would start most places.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's I'm sure some of those practices that they have at UConn are a lot of fun to watch. Straighten out this clock situation and get going momentarily.
And 14 left to play in the first half. Jamie Dixon, gee, what a start, though. There's a lot of question. And at first they made a move towards Skip Krauser. They tried to get him to come in as the head coach of the Panthers when Howland announced he was going to UCLA.
Right.
They settled on his assistant, Jamie Dixon, and not a bad move.
So far, so good. Their upcoming schedule is a pretty good test, though, right? They have UConn at UConn and also at Syracuse. So this game here, not over by a long shot, but those 2 coming up will really test the Panthers.
Yeah, they've got 2 coming up on the road at UConn and at Syracuse. You will indeed find out how good you are. UConn, the #1 in America, 1 loss early in the year. UConn with a tough one today. They'll play at North Carolina later. Byron Jones has a foul called on him. Inbounds to the Panthers.
And that's number 3 on him. Jones will be sitting for a while.
McCarroll hangs a jump shot, gets the rebound. This is a typical Pitt basketball, getting more than one chance at the offensive end.
It's a terrific effort, though, by Hill just then. Adrian Hill going up. I thought that was going to be a clear dunk. I think McCarroll thought the same thing. Not now.
Here is Hill down low. He has got the reputation as a relentless rebounder, and here's a foul as Shields is hit on the arm going to the basket. He'll shoot 2 for Rutgers.
Good decision just then by Shields also to bring that ball to his left hand. He's a right-handed shooter, but he brings the ball up after he gets his shot. Here comes Hill. That gets blocked. Watch Shields come at it, puts the left hand away with the basketball, creating contact, go to the line, get his first one to go down.
The foul is on McCarroll. Ricky Shields at the line is a very good free throw shooter, 79%. Gets them both. Scarlet Knights hanging right in there, down by 3 to Pitt with 9.5 to go in the first half.
Shields came into this game with 33s for Rutgers this season, 133, 7th in RU history.
McCarroll keeps working on that bank shot.
Better job by Hill again. He's starting to really put some meat on the defensive end. And Doobie really rips one from long range. Good quick up by Rutgers to take advantage, get a shot off before Pitt could get set defensively.
Quincy Doobie, a freshman backline player for Rutgers, who led New York City in scoring in the public league at Grady High School in Brooklyn. Arcing a 3, tied up at 14, but Pitt comes right back and answers.
Beautiful arc just then also. Krauser going through the middle of the lane just then. A little floater to make things happen.
Krauser with a big assignment, Jim. Of course, he's the guy that stepped in to play point guard now that Brandon Knight has graduated.
Hard-nosed, solid competitor, though.
Well, he thought about being a prize fighter one time early in his life.
He was 2-0 and 2-0 as an amateur, wasn't he?
Here's a lead in the Carroll, and he gets it to the high percentage range. Laying it off glass. It's an 18-14 game as the Panthers score 2 quick buckets to open up a 4-point lead.
So Krauser 2-0 as an amateur fighter, 17-0 this year. He hasn't lost too much.
That's right. This guy's a sure thing. Here he comes leading the break. 3-on-2. Lead down low. And slamming it down off the break is Jerron Brown as we see Pitt at its very best. That can be sensational.
Yeah, that was a very good pass by Krauser to release the basketball. Sometimes you want to keep going if you don't have the numbers and you don't have the angles. But Krauser gives it up just about half court. But why? Because he recognizes that Brown is ahead of the pack. As soon as somebody's ahead of the pack, give them the ball and let them go do what they have to do well. And Carroll doing his thing on the offensive glass on the break. So Pitt all of a sudden picking up a 6-point differential just then as Rutgers had narrowed it, tied it at 14.
Yeah, they went on that 6-point run, that 6-0 run in the space of 50 seconds. As we see Pittsburgh shooting over 50%. Rutgers with only 12 field goal tries. You get limited numbers. Rutgers has 8 turnovers so far. Jamie Dixon keeps the heat on. They'll keep pressuring. They were at the same hotel we were at, the Pitt team right nearby to the campus. And these guys are all about business. They've been stressing all week in practice. Don't look towards the Connecticut game at UConn. Rutgers will knock us off if we do.
And Rutgers is a dangerous team, especially at the rack on the road. They've had some problems, though. There's this great team defense.
They have to hurry their shots right now, Rutgers. And here comes Pitt running an up-tempo game. Krauser goes end-to-end, is rejected by Axani. Taft. Axani tipped it around against Notre Dame in a 3-point Pitt win on Monday night. Pittsburgh had 18 offensive rebounds. It was the difference. Hit by 6. The Pitt Panthers undefeated, leading Rutgers 20-14 with 7:27 to go in the first half, and it's time now for the Pontiac top performance of the week. And the guy who had it, hits Jerron Brown for his great play against Notre Dame.
And it was the all-around play, rebounding the basketball, gets himself in traffic here and puts up a little floater with that left hand of his, and also passing the basketball, making a nice gut pass here for Page to finish it off. Great effort against Notre Dame. You take a look at those numbers: 19 points, 8 of 12 from the floor.
A very solid player, Jerron Brown, a senior from Lexington, Kentucky. Pitt is a team that shoots only 62% free throws, but they average almost 13 offensive rebounds a game. They'll tip out a lot of those missed free throws and maintain possession, sometimes hit a 3 off a missed free throw. Shields launching long. Here comes Krauser having a big day with 4 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Krauser pulling it off his foot. Tried to sell the official, but it went off the opponent. Once again, 100% on that one that the official is not going to be sold on it. Nobody's won that yet.
Yep. And I don't believe they're handing out whistles to the fans here, so Rutgers will maintain possession right here.
Rutgers, a team that also preaches man-to-man defense, wearing down the opposition. Pressure D is the first 2 words out of Gary Waters' mouth when he talks about what he thinks winning basketball is built on. But it's so hard, Jim, to penetrate this Pittsburgh defense inside.
Yeah, if you notice, what they do real well is they collapse into the middle of the floor. A nice little drive there, though, to make something happen.
Wiggin. So Joel Wiggin hitting the driving shot to make it 20-16, and he will go to the free throw line. The foul was on Yuri Dimitris, his first.
Wiggin with a good, strong effort going through the middle of the lane. One of the things the Pitt Panthers do so well defensively is they continue to collapse the weak side of the floor. By that meaning that if the ball's on the left side of the floor, the right side is the weak side. So as somebody drives to the middle of the floor, the other side, the weak side, will collapse towards the middle, making it difficult to get those clear paths and layups.
Well, that was one of the few times that Rutgers have been able to penetrate and get that clear path inside. A very good play that gives them a three-point play and cuts the lead to 3 with 6:23 left to play. Rutgers at home is really a very different team. They're one of the great venues in college basketball is the Rutgers Athletic Center, the RAC. It's a very spirited place, and Rutgers is tremendous in that building.
Yeah, well, Gary Waters has been there, Don. They've been 32-9 at the RAC, and obviously this last few games they've had some beauties over there. The Connecticut game where they just came up short, but beating Providence. So, I mean, they will test the waters against you, if you will. No pun intended. But you know, you have a situation here where they just have to find a way to keep this thing close for the first 20 minutes, get into the break, and regroup for halftime.
Well, after a 14-all tie in this game, Pittsburgh took a 6-point lead. A long launch.
Get in there. Watch
Man
this.
Alive. That's a 4-pointer.
I like those.
Calvin Wooten.
That's what they have the rim up there for.
Trick shot.
There's no rule that says you can't use the rim as often as you want.
Now, when you hit twice like that, you should get 4 points. Here is Brown dishing out. Whoa, is so good at giving up the ball. And Taft is worked out, and he took some steps.
It's an interesting play there because Taft had himself positioned properly under the basket. Jamie Dixon looking for a call. Watch the quick interior pass, but the ball squeezes out of his hands right there. He loses it and smothers it against the bottom of the rim. Could not come down with an easy possession.
And that three-pointer by Wooten gives us the 3rd tie of the game. Now Rutgers down by 6 not that long ago, looking to take the lead.
And Wooten sat out 7 games for Rutgers, but he's played well over the last 5.
He's coming off off-season knee surgery, a sophomore from Detroit, from McKenzie High School, when he led the Detroit Public League in scoring one year.
And he shoots that free ball, coming in 8 for 19 from the floor from 3, so 42%. So he can really fire it up if you don't go out and get him. That's one of the things about Rutgers, is that they will step further and further away to shoot their threes if they have to.
Well, Rutgers has got guys that can shoot way outside the arc, like Ricky Shields and Wooten.
Krauser really goes after the basketball. Hey, great call this time.
I think his foot was on the inbounds line.
Now, all the people behind us are screaming that that's a bad call, Don, but I happen to lean forward, and his foot was clearly sitting on the line. Pat Driscoll was right on top of it. And watch, left foot, right foot's right on the line. Look where Pat is, makes the call. But he's on the road making that call. And these fans here at home don't give you a break.
This is a great building, a beautiful building. Opened last year. Panthers 30-0 in this building, 36-0 in their last 36 home games. Although early in the season they didn't exactly play a murderer's row of some of their opposition.
Well, that's the thing. You could look at their schedule, and there's a couple of 3 or 4 games that are tough games on the schedule coming in before the season, and Jamie Dixon has won them all, so you can't knock him, but this week is a telling week.
Driving shot is rejected, and then a foul is called on Joel Wiggin after he missed the shot trying to get the ball. So Jamie Dixon sees his guys go to the free throw line to shoot one in bonus. Gary Waters with an unhappy message to Wiggin.
Just trying to keep them focused. Gary Waters doing a good job so far. 2020, the key right now, I think, is, as I mentioned, get to the half, be within 3 or 4 points, regroup, and then come out and try to keep it close for the next 15 minutes and try to steal one.
Stay in the game. Try to get into the last couple of minutes and see what will happen as Pittsburgh now breaks the tie. Taft at the free throw line. A 59% free throw shooter. Got averages 2.5 blocks a game. Chris Taft. Rutgers looking for that offensive rebound, a defensive rebound off the missed free throws, because there'll be many. That's one thing the Panthers come up short on. Free throw shooting 62% as a team. And 100% as a team on defense of the Panthers. They never let up. Taft rebounds at the defensive end. Here comes Krauser. Lead to Jerron Brown. Joel Wiggin can play some defense.
And Rutgers goes man-to-man most of the time, and they're not afraid to put chest-to-chest and go after you also.
Krauser with a beautifully executed play, kicking it out, but rebound comes down to Hill. And Rutgers down by 1 with 3:56 to play in the half.
And you notice that Pitt usually has pretty good balance defensively because offensively they really understand where they're supposed to be on the court for their offensive sets.
Rutgers takes the lead on a pull-up jumper by Wooten.
And a nice decision by Wooten just then. Got his shoulders around the corner a little bit, gets himself into the paint. And I think he reacts to Coach Gary Waters over there saying that I'm ready to play.
Hey, this Joel Wiggin, he's giving Krauser all he can handle. Krauser cannot free up for an open look.
Forcing him to take a little extra time off the clock, even though Pitt's comfortable with that. Johnny with a good hand, nice defensive effort.
The hard-working captain gets it back to the Scarlet Knights.
Well, look at the balance. The balance is all predicated off the Pitt offense, so you don't get many layups against them. That's why they shut you down.
Young shot might have been tipped. Axani fighting for the rebound. Troutman gets it, tips it over to Krauser. Lead pass down court. And Brown goes to the basket, lays it in. He was fouled and will go to the free throw line for the Panthers.
Shields a little late getting there. And a nice little tuck in by Brown just then. Watch how Brown coming down the floor now. Watch what he does with the basketball. He kind of extends it to the baseline to get it away from the defender. Most guys will bring that up to bring it up over your head to shoot a layup. What he did first there was to put the ball ahead of him, create the contact, and then worry about the shot afterwards.
Jerron Brown, a 50% free throw shooter. He is actually a better field goal shooter, 52%, than he is free throw shooter. Jamie Dixon putting all he's got into every minute as coach, and this is first year's head man. To Pittsburgh, Don Prickey with Jim Spinarkle. It's time now for the Guinness game summary.
You take a look at the numbers, pretty even with the rebounding. 44% shooting for Pitt, but I think, you look at those turnovers. They're the ones that Rutgers really has to be careful because, if on the road here, if they can maintain control of the basketball, they should be in good shape throughout the course of this basketball game.
And then, of course, the Pitt Panther balance is evident again, just in scoring. There's Dick Groth, the former All-American guard for the Pitt, for Duke.
Right.
Pittsburgh, and then a great Pitts Pirate shortstop.
I was talking to Dick before the game, Don. He mentioned he was talking about Chris Tapp. He just looked at him as he walked off the floor, and he looked at him and said, wait till you see this kid. He can flat out play. He's a youngster, but he can go get it.
Well, they talk about Tapp's great hands. Wonderful soft touch, a guy who gained All-American honors at Xaverian in Brooklyn last year. Dick Groth, a baseball Hall of Famer, and he was a first-team All-American in the back line for Duke back in the early 50s, I guess.
Yeah, put up some big numbers down there. I did get my joke in with him when the ball came over to us during the warm-ups, and I had to pass it because Dick would not.
Well, he was open. Here is Tapp.
Wow, great decision to shoot the ball just then. If he did not shoot the basketball, he would have been called for 3 seconds if he passed that one out. But he does have the good hands and a nice soft touch from 8 feet or so.
He comes in averaging just over 10 points a game, and he is a 60% field goal shooter as Tapp. Rebound caroms out, knocked over to Wooten, and this sophomore guard settles his team down as the Rutgers Scarlet Knights down by 4 with 1:46 to play. This is Marcus Webb, a freshman point guard, the first New Jersey recruit for Gary Waters. Out of Patterson Catholic school, has turned out some great college athletes, like the former Villanova All-American Tim Thomas. And here is a shot down low, as working low is Adrian Hill, big sophomore from Canton, Ohio, and he cuts the lead to 2.
Good possession just then, and good decision also from the guards for Rutgers. Not hurrying, not getting rattled. They took the long shot, got their offensive rebound back to them, but then settled down and made sure they got a good effort out of it.
Krauser with a dish with authority. Drops the hammer.
Boy, he really did. Big time, emphatic drive to the basket for the dunk. And a beautiful look again by Krauser. Really look for one another under the basket very nicely, especially after they break people down off to the perimeter.
9 points for Tapp. There's no question, Jim. Krauser is a table setter. You're open. He's going to get it to you. Axani is rejected by Taft. Here comes Krauser.
Got another one down there.
Lead to Brown. Oh. And a follow-up of his own miss. And all of a sudden, the Pitt Panthers go on a quick run and take a 30-24 lead. Rutgers will play for a final shot.
Yeah, they have to sit on it right now.
They're going to look for a 3.
Pitt does have a foul of 2 or 3 or 4 to give if they want to, if they get in trouble right here.
Doubling up on the ball are the Pitt Panthers. Here is Shields. Dishes out. There's the three-point look, but no open shot. Rebound from down court. Here's to Page, and that's not going to go as at the half. It's going to be Pittsburgh 30 and Rutgers 24 as the balance scoring of Pittsburgh. Brown with 5. Taft with 9 now. Krauser has 4. Page has 4. Rutgers 37.5%. But Lamazana, they've got to get him jump-started, Jim, as Waters says. Hervé can be as good as Hervé wants to be, and against this tough defense, he's not produced so far.
No, he hasn't. He's only gotten 4 shots also, of which he's made 1. So for a total of 2 points, and you look at the leading scorers there, Taft with a very nice first half, 4 for 8, 9 points. And Wooten with 5. Can add to Taft's line also 3 block shots. So he's been very, very impressive early on in the first half.
At halftime today, they honored the great All-American wide receiver from the Pitt football team, Larry Fitzgerald, with presentation of the Walter Camp Award. You know, Rutgers is thrilled with the recruiting class they have coming in for football under coach Greg Schiano next season.
Continues to build that program.
Down low, a reject of Lamazana. So you remember he was the option early. He took the first 3 times down. He took the shot. And then Pittsburgh shut off the possessions.
Well, Brown defensively just then caught a shot to the face, maybe to the eye. He's guarding Lamazana right now and had been guarding him in the first half and did a remarkable job on him to slow him down, even though he's given up some size and height.
Brown going for the steal, and he knocks it out of bounds. So they're trying to work Lamazana obviously into the offense again and get him going. Lamazana, 14.5 point per game scorer.
Yeah, he's got the size on Brown. He should be down low rather than outside.
Long ball by Lamazana. Comes down to Krauser, who tips it over to Brown. And here comes the quarterback, Harold Krauser from the Bronx, New York. Working it up court. Julius Page with that soft jumper, a high arcing jump shot for the senior.
Plus the good elevation coming off the screen. Really gets a nice loft in the shot, but gets up in the air to shoot it over people. And Brown is guarding Lamazana, as I mentioned. They have to try to get him on the blocks and post up, get this ball down low, either to him or Hill, as much as they can.
It's an important possession, Jim, for Rutgers, as the Panthers have built their biggest lead of the game, 8 points. Hill with a soft turnaround jump shot.
Well, one that Rutgers needed, really. They want to make sure that they don't let this get out of control early on right here. You hear coaches talk about the first 5 minutes of the game, the first 5 minutes of the second half. So important right here, because Pitt, even though they're not explosive, are smart enough to knock you out of the box early. 3-on-1, they should get something out of this.
Krauser starting to break, rejecting the shot of Krauser was Hill. And now they're going to have Rutgers going to the free throw line. Heading to the line is Marquise Webb. Julius Page gets his first personal foul of the game. Pittsburgh 17-0 coming in. A win today, and Jamie Dixon would surpass the recent win streak of Bill Guthridge of North Carolina. He started out 17-0, then lost to Maryland in '98. The all-time winning streak for a rookie coach is unbelievable. That was back in 78-79. Bill Hodges at Indiana State started out 33-0. First loss came in the national championship game when Larry Bird was bested by Magic Johnson of Michigan State.
Not a bad guy to have on your team, Larry Bird, huh? Pretty good year.
That was the start of a tremendous rival. But 33-0, the Sycamores of Indiana State started that season. Ended up 33-1. Brown going hard to the rack, and he gets it off glass.
Boy, does Brown ever know how to use his body? 225 pounds of muscle and strength, not only at the offensive end, but he is putting the body to Lamazana right now, too, at the defensive end, not allowing Lamazana to use his 6'10" frame to get anywhere underneath.
Ron Brown, a senior from Lexington, Kentucky, an experienced guy. He's 24 years old.
See, he should be able to shoot right over him. Yep, over the top.
Now Lamazana, in his frustration off the missed 10-foot jump shot, comes over the back of Troutman and fouls him.
Yeah, I think with Lamazana, I might mention to him, listen, catch the ball in the blocks, be patient, watch out for double teams coming at you, but just take your time and shoot over the 6'4" Brown down low.
He is Rutgers' a low post presence, Hervé Lamazana, and they need him to bring it every game. Page from the outside. Rebound, Karam's off. Here comes Lamazana at 6'10", leading the break. Rutgers now playing volleyball, trying to keep it in play.
I was going to say, this one isn't by design, that break.
Not a thing of beauty, but the Scarlet Knights keep possession. Al Krauser getting his first personal foul. Krauser, he really holds it together. The Pitt Panthers almost lost one game. That was at Miami when Krauser drove end to end in the closing seconds to send it to overtime with a driving shot. And they won. Well-stroked ball as the freshman Marquise Webb from Patterson, New Jersey, knocks it down.
It makes a difference for Rutgers when they first look to the blocks to try to get the ball in low. When they do get it there, then the Pitt releases defensively a little bit on the perimeter, and you're able to get a clearer shot off from long range.
Rutgers packing it in now, trying to keep these guys outside, and denied that Taft, who was so dominant early in the game.
5 on the shot clock right now. Yep, going the other way.
Jamie Dixon sees his team with a failed possession, and the lead back down to 4. Rutgers on a 4-0 run, and with possession now, the Scarlet Knights keep hanging in.
Yeah, I think Jamie Dixon realizes, you know, he knows that Rutgers played well and beat Providence, played well against Connecticut. They're a team that if they get hot from the outside, albeit they're better at the rack than they are on the road, they can have some good things happen.
Right now they have the big guy, Lamazana, cruising around out of the arc. 19 feet from the basket. Here's Krauser with a beautiful drive. Reverses it to the left hand, lays it in, 6-point lead. All the Panthers.
All triggered by another block shot by Taft down low.
Here's Lamazana. Nowhere to go. Marquise Webb strokes the 3, and it is now a 36-33 game Pitt.
It was a simple play, too, in terms of what Lamazana did just then, too, Don. He didn't have anything. Don't force it. You're not playing real well. A lot of players make the mistake of trying to do too much. That was a good little delivery just then to the outside for Webb's jumper.
A very big 3 gets them right back in the game. Rutgers down by 3, and here come the Panthers now. Krauser so smart with the ball. He is a very good decision maker. Wow. Down low, Taft can't get it to go, gets his own rebound and is fouled, and it's a typical Pittsburgh play. Miss the shot, but get your own offensive board.
You quickly come to learn that Taft has some great footwork. Look at him, the left foot, well, that's a walk actually. No wonder why it was great pivot. He lifts the left foot up. Watch, the left foot was his initial pivot foot, and he lifts it off the floor, so he gets away with the travel just then, but his footwork is so good that sometimes you can even fool the officials.
14:54 to play in the game, as at the free throw line, Chris Taft, the 6'10 freshman, hits the free throw and builds the Panthers lead to 4. He has 10 points. A hot player for Rutgers is Marquise Webb, the freshman. He has 7 points, all coming here in the second half. That's a typical Pitt play. Missed the free throw, tip it out, but Rutgers is ready. Now Webb pulling up. Very confident guy, Jim, for a freshman.
Sure is. Good decision. Shields going long range.
That was not a 4-pointer. That's a 3.5-pointer. Way outside the arc. And Rutgers is right back in it.
For Shields too, Don, that's like an extended layup, isn't it? He can really go from long range.
He can bomb. And he is a top defender also as he comes out, and Krauser rims out. Axani tips it over. Hill gets it and knocks it over, and here comes Shields, and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights looking to take the lead.
I was thinking shot right there too. Look at how far out the floor he is. Axani with a good play, as you touched on too. Could not corral the basketball, but guided it over to his teammate.
And Rutgers now, Jim, more patient with the ball. Lamazana with a beautiful move inside.
There you go. When things are struggling a little bit from the floor, get the ball, take advantage of your size, get on the blocks. I would venture a guess that Gary Waters is going to try to post up Lamazana the next 3 or 4 minutes. Very, very important for this Rutgers team.
He has to be well pleased as Rutgers has rallied back from down by 8 in the second half to take the lead. What's kept Rutgers in this game and has ultimately propelled them to the lead after being down by 8 in the second half is their three-point shooting. They are now 5 of 11 shooting threes, and Pittsburgh has yet to hit from the arc.
And you look at a situation too with Rutgers where, you know, when they see the ball go in from long range, they really can get riled up with it. You know, when they're at home in the rack, that's when the fans really get picked up and they start going crazy when they hit the long ball. So let's see if they can block out the Pitt fans here and continue to just play as they have been for the last 4 minutes or so.
Rutgers with that ball pressure, that tough man defense, switching in and out of zones as they are changing looks on defense from time to time, but their basic go is a pressure D man. 13:32 left to play in the game, and Rutgers continues to lead to Pittsburgh. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarco. Rutgers rallying back from 8 points down in the second half to take the lead. Marquise Webb, the freshman, so assured and shooting from way outside the arc, drops the hammer on a three. He has 7 points, as you've seen. Has hit both his shots. I mean, when you're hitting 100%, you got to take some more.
Exactly. He's doing a good job, though, and has been for Rutgers all season long in running the point. A tough job for a young player coming out of high school.
Good sized guard.
Yep. Usually makes some pretty good decisions. He doesn't seem to get rattled too often.
He's 6'5", Marquise Webb.
High side pickup.
Man. Wow. Whatever's fair. Rutgers, I think, Jim, has found some confidence in that arc. And who needs the arc? They're about 3 feet outside it. They build their biggest lead of the game, a 4-point advantage. Rutgers on a 12-0 run.
If you go behind the screens and try to double team, but you're late getting around it, Shields will just flat out let it rip, because we've seen him do it twice already. Little reach in by Shields. Almost triggered that and pushed it ahead for a breakaway.
This will make news if Rutgers can hold on, but there's a long way to go, and these Pitt Panthers are very schooled when the game is on the line and winning it. You win 36 in a row at home, 17-0 to start the season. You're good at the only thing that counts, winning.
Absolutely. This building, though, is known for its noise, though.
Yeah,
It's been pretty quiet here in the last 5 or 6 minutes, hasn't it?
I think these long three-pointers by the Scarlet Knights have stunned the place.
Really. Good job by Rutgers again. Defended pretty well. Page had a look. He's complaining he thought he got hit on the arm. Well, Rutgers just has to continue to get into it. Now you're going to hear some noise. Fans trying to trigger the defense for their team right now by making some noise.
And Pitt, Jim, has not scored a field goal in 4 minutes now. Lamazana, beautiful look, but not enough on the shot. Hill is rejected. Lamazana gets it, and the ball comes down to a Pitt player, Deron Brown, whose foot was on the baseline of the court. It will be Rutgers' ball after we take this timeout, with the Scarlet Knights leading the Panthers 41-37. Event Center, and we have quite an event today, as the shooting of Ricky Shields has been a difference maker, and Rutgers has rallied from 8 points down to take a 4-point lead in the second half.
If you don't come out and guard him chest to chest, you're really going to have some problems. Webb doing a good job of running this point, also steps away and knocks back one of his shots. So shooting the basketball and shooting the rock pretty good.
Shooting the rock is brought to you by Rolling Rock Beer. Grab a rock. Here's another shot and knocking it down. A smooth stroke by Hervé Lamazana, the big guy who was born on the Ivory Coast in Africa, went to St. Patrick's in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and when he's at the top of his game is a very formidable force inside, and he builds the Rutgers lead to 6.
This looks like almost like a triangling 2 right now. Yep, that's exactly what it is. You have 2 guards playing man-to-man. For Rutgers, you have Wiggin playing man-to-man, and it looks like Webb playing man-to-man, and the other 3 players are just standing in a zone. So it's called a triangle 2. The triangle being the three guys who are in the middle of the paint.
Rutgers on a 14-0 run. It was up by 8. Now find themselves down by 6. They've not scored a field goal of the Panthers in almost 5 minutes. Here's an open look from McCarroll. And he hits it.
If you're smart with the basketball against a triangle too, Don, you bring it just like they did to one side of the floor. You will get open shots. So let's see if Rutgers continues to go with this strategy. I don't think it's a bad idea by Gary Waters because he's at least switching up the defenses a little bit.
And Waters, Jim, with some excellent adjustments at halftime, particularly in ball control. As Lamazana can't get it to go, but fighting for the ball is Adrian Hill, and he gets it for Rutgers. Rutgers turned it over 10 times in the first half. They've not turned it over in the second half.
And last set, too, when they took the out-of-bounds play and got Lamazana involved with the jump, was great coaching by Gary Waters to get his big scorer involved with a comfort shot.
You know, we talked, Jim, about the 1-point loss to Connecticut, a game that Rutgers is a foul on Krauser hit his second. 1-point loss to Connecticut by Rutgers, but that had to be a confidence builder when you know you can play the #1 team right down to the wire and almost beat them.
Yeah, and there were times when, you know, that team, Rutgers and Gary Waters and company, looked very comfortable against UConn. I mean, just a little bit too much talent, as you touched on before. 1 through 12, Jim Calhoun has a great squad up in Stores, but you know, this is a dangerous Rutgers team because they don't go away. I mean, some nights, like we all have, they have flat nights and they don't play well, just like any team in the United States. But their effort is generally pretty good.
And usually in tight games like this, the free throw line is often a decider. Both teams well under the limit. Rutgers and Pittsburgh each with 3 team fouls so far as Exani is cut. So the captain of the Scarlet Knights has to sit out until he stops the bleeding. He cut his lip.
Yeah, it's getting a little aggressive underneath. 7, 8 feet and shorter. You better be ready to go in there and fight. Here goes Lamazana. He's trying to post up Brown a little bit better on the blocks. Brown continues to do a nice job on him.
Lamazana, spin move. Bank shot doesn't go, but he draws a shooting foul. But at 6'10", he can move like a 6-foot guard.
You know, watch him with the ball here. He handles it very nicely, and now all of a sudden he goes into a spin. He loses his footing a little bit before the plant, but then gets a soft shot just a little bit too hard. That ball would have fallen for him.
Foul is on Jerron Brown, only his second of the game, the 14th foul against the Panthers. And Lamazana goes to the free throw line where he shoots 68%. They say, Jim, when he's at the top of his game, he's got a Kevin Garnett look to his style of play. A big guy that can do it anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, as you take a look at Exani taking care of his lip just then, that's why I think with Lamazana they have to continually to focus a little bit more on the blocks with him. 2 big misses though right there.
Big misses.
Yeah, that could have leaves the lead at 4. Could have been a 6-point Rutgers lead. Gives you a little more breathing room.
And now we're inside 10 minutes to play. Our producer today for ESPN Plus is Bill Schisler. Our director, Dennis Lanius, as we right now have Pittsburgh trying to get it down after trailing. Down to maybe 1 if they hit the 3.
Rutgers back to the man-to-man straight up, it looks like. Yep.
Brown with a putback and a foul, and he goes to the free throw line looking to cut the Rutgers lead to 1.
Did he ever use the body? And Jamie Dixon very happy with the play. The shot by Morris here a little short. But Brown using the strength initially to get the basketball and bounce Lamazana away from him. And then the strength to finish it off and the quickness to put it up very nicely off the glass.
Lamazana just was called with his 3rd personal foul of the game. Now Pittsburgh apparently back in form on offense after going 5 minutes without a field goal and falling behind by 4 after they led by 8 in the second half. Aram's out. Hill gets the rebound. Pittsburgh always looking to slap at that ball if they can get to it, because the opposition has inside lane position when you're shooting free throws. But they're so good at tipping out a missed free throw to one of their teammates. And the building starts to come alive as Adrian Hill goes low and lays it in.
Lamazana with the deal. Nice action, though, on the post by Hill to set himself up with the body before the delivery. A great job. He got Taft up the lane a little bit, and Taft was behind them. Not quick enough to get back to block that shot from behind.
Here is Julius Page, the senior, getting the ball out to McCarroll.
Rutgers has some nice bounce in their legs collectively right now defensively.
Axani with excellent defense. Tip doesn't work. And it's knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Rutgers.
That's good work by Axani right there, though. Defensively for the initial stay and then coming back into that play to try to get his hands on the basketball. Good effort by him after that cut lip.
Look at Iowa continues to lead number 25 Illinois. Duke up on number 3 Wake Forest. Georgia up on Kentucky as we look at some ranked teams early in their games. Here is Julius Page with a beautiful looking stroke. Everyone's the same.
Yep. Little breakdown by Rutgers defensively just then. You're allowing a lefty shooter to go deep into the left corner in his rhythm. Page obviously was thinking shot before the ball even came to him.
And now Pittsburgh starts to rally, down by 2. The Pitt Panthers with a national mark at the current time of 36 straight home victories. The all-time mark is something like 125 straight home wins. That was by Kentucky, I think, in the 40s. Wiggin with a move to the basket, and Joel Wiggin from New York, puts on a street move and makes it go.
Was he ever out there by himself with that ball for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden that extra patience, bit of patience in the step through. A terrific move, one that they really needed.
Wiggin plays in that great Harlem Rucker League in the summer. Well, you better bring your A game.
Yeah, they'll test you a little bit over there.
Byron Jones gets his 4th personal foul for Rutgers now. So there's a timeout on the floor. Rutgers back up to a 4-point lead, 47-43. Rutgers down by 4 at the half as we look now at the BMW ultimate drive of the game. And here is Carl Krauser going hard to the rack with a reverse. But in the second half, the Scarlet Knights have clearly outplayed Pitt so far and hold to a 4-point lead over a team that is undefeated this season under rookie coach Jamie Dixon.
Well, there is just plenty of time to go in this basketball game.
Jerron Brown launches a 3. And it is a 1-point game as the Panthers rally back.
You would anticipate the fans to really get into this set right now and help their team defensively as much as possible.
And Jerron Brown, a 12-point-a-game scorer, currently leads all scorers in the game. He scored 14 today for Pitt. Stripped from Lamazana the ball, but it's taken back by Wiggin. He puts it up. Doesn't go. A rebound taken down by Jerron Brown. Gary Waters was extolling Brown's all-around game. He said he's a guy you have to watch every minute at both ends. We're coming to you from the Peterson Event Center. Don Criqui with Jim Spinarco. Big East basketball on ESPN+. And now there's a timeout on the floor with 6:56 left to play. A game that has gone back and forth. Jamie Dixon's team holding to a 4-point lead at halftime. And then Rutgers rallying back with a 14-0 run to take a 6-point lead. Let's take a look now at the Advanced Auto Parts upcoming schedules. Rutgers heading to Miami, playing St. John's at Villanova, home to play Notre Dame on Saturday the 31st. And then advance Miami, and Pittsburgh will really get a test Monday night at number 1 Connecticut. Then at number 19 Syracuse. Pittsburgh, as you know, Jim, has to play Connecticut and Syracuse twice each this season. Home and away. You really find out how good you are.
Absolutely. You know, they hopefully are not thinking about Connecticut or Syracuse right this minute because they have their hands full right here with Rutgers.
But the Panthers with a chance to take the lead.
Good timeout by Jamie Dixon just then to make sure they get a good look.
Hey,
look at the work in there, huh?
And Lamazana takes the rebound down. Men at work under there.
Yeah, they're ready to roll. Here we go. It's time to buckle up. 6.5 minutes left.
Rutgers looking for what could be one of the great upsets in the history of Rutgers basketball if they can pull this off. But as you mentioned, a long way to go. Lamazana down low. He's being body checked. Too much on it. Rebound comes down to Taft.
You notice how he did not turn to the basket. He kind of shot that from the side. Look at Krauser. Where is everybody?
Rebound knocked around. Taft puts it back up and down. Wait a minute, Nick.
Boy, he hung on to that a long time, didn't he?
It looked like the ball might be in the cylinder, but the official right there said no, it was clean. And Pittsburgh has rallied back and taken the lead. And this building has erupted. A huge possession now for the Scarlet Knights.
And make sure they get a good look. Don't be surprised to see a timeout if they don't get anything going towards the basket.
Rebound knocked around, taken on the baseline as Julius Page, the senior leader, the 6'3" guard, gets it over to his point guard, Carl Krauser. Krauser with a great ability to move and change speeds on the dribble and just drive right through. Foul call on Joel Wiggin, his third. 16 fouls on Rutgers, 14 fouls on Pitt. So on the next foul against Rutgers, Pittsburgh will be shooting the bonus. One in bonus. Marquise Webb leaves the game, a guy who had the hot hand in the second half, scoring 7 points early on in the second half to help Rutgers take the lead.
Comes Page again into the right corner. Better defense there by Wiggins. Good understanding of what they were trying to do with Page.
Game clock down to 5:12 to play. Krauser very sure with the dribble and always looking to set somebody up. Brown.
Plenty of holding here. I don't know who it's going to go on. It's like take your pick.
Going to call it on Rutgers. John Lamazana. He's got a problem. That's 4. So Hervey with 4 personal fouls. You got to keep him in the game with the game on the line. A 1-point game Pitt. Because you don't have to keep him in. No, they're taking Axani out. They are leaving him in.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, they're going to switch that, Don.
Yeah, he's coming out. Not quite the stretch run yet.
No, you give him, you try, you know, it depends on the next possession or two, though. If you get down 3, 5 points, regardless of the time, then you put him back in the game. But you hope that you can weather this storm, you know, for another minute and a half. If you can get to about the 3.5 minute with Lamazana coming back in, that's what I would shoot for.
And shooting for 1 at the line. And now a second is Chris Taft, the freshman, who they could evolve into one of the best players in Pitt basketball history. Could be. Is this Troutman moving him out? It is. Troutman, who's very good at that. Siobhan Troutman body checking, but they call him on it there. Pitt does such a terrific job of tipping out their own missed free throws to a teammate.
You know when you can tell, Don, that the rebounding is getting a little tougher is when they're on free throws. They're pushing one another around. Generally, during the course of the game, when a shot goes up, guys are banging and bumping all the time. When you have that kind of hitting on just free throw attempts, you know it's getting tough underneath.
And Rutgers has now gone 3.5 minutes without a field goal.
Good call out front. Krauser with the hold. I think Doobie has to do a little bit more of that. He's got the speed. All of a sudden now, Pitt's up to the 6th foul. So one more drive and we're even at the fouls.
Krauser just got his 3rd personal foul. Yeah, we have 16 fouls now. They've signaled Rutgers up there with 7 now on the board. The last call was against Krauser. The free throw shooting less than stellar. Pittsburgh 5 of 9 from the line. Rutgers 4 of 9. Here is Shields as they hawk the ball. He gets it over, and Doobie puts it up and knocks it down. Quincy Doobie.
You got to love that effort, though. Both teams, the ball on the floor, both teams going after it. Somehow it squeezes out for Rutgers.
Scarlet Knights tie the game at 49 as Doobie, the former New York City public school scoring leader for a season, averaging over 25 a game at Grady High in Brooklyn. This is the 4th tie of the game. Turnaround. Offensive rebound put back. Pittsburgh continues to work well at the offensive end with follow-ups.
Oh boy, they have a great player in Taft. He is good as a youngster right now. I can imagine what we have 2 or 3 years down the road as a player if he develops and continues to work at it.
And now we're going to have is this a turnover call on Rutgers? As we have a timeout called on the floor. As down the floor comes Carl Krauser.
Lamazana offensively, but Lamazana very, very good, number 10 in the country in block shots. So great effort by Taft.
Yeah, Lamazana came in with 43 blocks for the season. Rutgers has turned the ball over only once in the second half after 10 first half turnovers, and now Rutgers challenges Krauser for the ball, and they're going to rule it over and back on Pittsburgh, and the ball comes back over to the Scarlet Knights. The State University of New Jersey looking to take the lead or tie here.
Rutgers comes back. Good job by Gary Waters with the triangling defense. You know what? That may have been deflected over by Wigan, I believe it was. Rutgers controls the basketball with just a touch over 3 minutes to go.
And Pitt continues to do that great job coordinating up, and they steal it right back. Lead goes down to Jerron Brown. Driving, reject, foul call, and they're going to score the basket on an interference.
And I think both of those are the correct calls if they give it to him.
Yep. They're going to give it to him.
Yeah.
Could be a three-point play for Pitt.
Good smart pass here by Troutman, though, getting it up the floor. Now watch the strength of Brown take over. He hangs in the air. It's the right call from the officials on both counts. Good pickup down the floor. Not a team that runs it up a whole lot, gets to the backboard, and he takes it off the glass.
So the Panthers now hold to a 53-49 lead. They have a 4-point lead, not the 2-point lead you see. And they are going to go to the free throw line. Pittsburgh went on a real scoring drought. 5 minutes without a field goal.
Well,
he scored the goal. The official came over and told the scores table that's good.
Yeah, maybe they're just thinking who was the fouler. I think it was definitely Doobie. Just wanted to get that correct, and they did. It was on Doobie on the break. He reached in and grabbed Brown. It was not on Exani. They got Exani for goaltending.
So Pittsburgh with a 4-point lead, looking to extend it to 5. Jerron Brown at the free throw line. He's only 50% from the free throw line. Look at the offensive rebound. They're going to get Troutman on a push-off.
I don't know.
No, they're not.
I don't know about that.
How do you get position inside? Either you're the world's fastest man or you use some body check, but at any rate, they're going to call it on Exani, and it's his second.
Well, what Troutman does very well in the free throws, a lot of guys just wait there and don't anticipate going after the basketball. One thing he does is he gives me the impression like he's thinking before the shot goes, I want to be fast, I want to be furious and go after it. And being 6'7", about 235, not afraid to tangle with people inside.
Well, he really made the difference in the 3-point win over Notre Dame Monday night, Troutman, with offensive rebounds off of missed Pittsburgh free throws. It was unbelievable how he kept getting them.
Puts the first one in, and big shot right here.
Pittsburgh with the longest winning streak in the country, 17 straight wins, 36 straight wins at home, and now Rutgers down by 5 with 2:45 to play.
Rutgers has to continue to go and drive the ball towards the basket. I know Taft is in there and he's blocked some shots this afternoon, but you have to start challenging and going towards the basket.
Long ball, rims out, Krauser rebound. And the Panthers will look to run clock, you would think. But if Krauser sees an open, this guy is really smart with the ball.
See, and at the Rutgers end, Don, that gets it done if you bury a long shot. I know it's the home run ball, and it puts you up. It gets you back into it mentally and all. But percentage-wise, you really have to go to the basket, stop the clock. Pitt has 6 fouls up on the board, and try to get to the line and stop this clock. And they're just taking tons of time off the clock now as it nears 5 seconds.
Shot clock down to 3. Long range hit.
That's huge. Maybe time to talk things over a little bit. Here comes the timeout.
19 points for Jerron Brown. And the Pitt Panthers, after falling behind by 6 in the second half, have rallied to take an 8-point lead.
Now, see where they're very, very good as you take a look at some of these scores. Illinois holding on right there.
Duke up on Wake Forest, a battle of 2 top 5 teams in the ACC.
Kentucky having some problems, huh, against Georgia.
Oklahoma. They can tell you how good UConn
Yeah,
is.
they sure can, huh?
They went in there and got blown away.
Yeah, this is a solid Pitt basketball team. Ranked number 13. Take a look, not bad for a rookie, huh? He's down at the bottom there, but he's going to jump up a spot over Bill Guthridge from UNC.
What a start on the foundation of the decision to bring him in as the head coach here at the Peterson Athletic Center, where the Pitt Panthers have known only victory. They stand 30-0 since the building opened.
And I know you're down 8 right now if you're Rutgers, but you have to try to get to the basket. Try to attack and stop this clock. There you go. Get it down low. See, that's effective.
Yeah, that's good.
That's effective right there.
They heard you, Jim, as they do get the foul inside, stopping the clock with 1:42 left to play. And to the free throw line goes Hervé Lamazana. You recall he bricked a couple his last trip to the line. He is for the season a 68% free throw shooter coming in. And killing with the line, missing the front end.
You know, Pitt's not that good a free throw shooting team down at 62% as Rutgers comes up. They may want to try fouling earlier than normal.
Down low, here is Taft with a hook move to the basket. Shot doesn't go, but he was fouled and will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 shots.
So he's a 60% shooter, 59% to be exact. So not a bad strategy if you're Rutgers right now. I mean, you're running out of time. You're down a bunch.
And that's the end of the line, Jim, for Lamazana. He fouled out.
Really got to give Jerron Brown some credit this afternoon. He really was tangling pretty nicely with Lamazana.
So Hervé Lamazana, the main man in the Rutgers rotation, the guy who's the first option when they have the ball, finishes with 6 points, 8.5 below his average, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And at the line, Taft stroked the free throw. He now has 16 points. Well above his per game average. Taft averages 10 points a game. Shields comes out. And now Rutgers down by 9, and it could be 10 in a moment after this next stroke by the big guy, and Taft builds into a 10-point lead.
Bring it down in a hurry and try to get to the basket if you can.
And the freshman ties his career high for Pittsburgh with 17 points. Rutgers has to launch. Pitt will not allow it. Defending the arc.
Yeah, they're not even getting any possibilities.
Down low attempt as they try to get away Axani. Here's a long ball. Here is Taft. Loses the handle, but gets it back.
Coming our way.
Goes right to John Conomites, sitting next to us, a distinguished Pitt alum. He's got the best seats in the house.
You're mingling with the crowd again, huh?
Yeah. I tell you, it was a tremendous effort by Rutgers, but you can see what Pitt is all about. They were challenged, lost the lead, it was on the line, and then Pitt showed everybody why they're one of the best teams in America. And a team with the longest winning streak. Rutgers has only 1 basket since the 7:58 mark. So in 7 minutes, they have 1 basket. Taft puts it up. Rebound comes down to Rutgers. Here's Doobie, the freshman. He takes it all the way down. He's rejected. The